Hey, what's up you guys, Mr. Awesome here, and welcome to another 10 Reasons video. God, I can't just stop thinking about Nintendo 64 Online, and also, yes, Sega Genesis Online, but more Nintendo 64 Online. I am beyond hyped for it, man. God, Nintendo 64 was my childhood, and to see it on Nintendo Switch for the first time officially, it's finally a dream come true, man. I have so much to say for this video, and yes, I'm gonna talk about Sega Genesis stuff too, so if you're a Sega kid growing up, this one's also for you, alright? Nintendo Switch Online just got a little bit better, but a little bit more pricier too. Who knows what the pricing is, but, well, time will tell how much Nintendo will either appease us or disappoint us. My name is JuniorAlexanderLeiva, aka Mr. Awesome, and here's 10 reasons to be hyped for Nintendo 64/Sega Genesis Online. This video title might be completely different. I just don't know what to title it, because this is a handful. Subscribe for more 10 Reasons videos that have hype in it, just like this one. Why? Because it's exciting talking about video games with people who enjoy playing video games, like you guys. Shout out to the Mr. Members for supporting the channel monthly. You can also become a member today for as low as $2 a month and support me in my endeavors with this YouTube channel. I have so much planned, and it's exciting to see that honestly a lot of what I've had planned is already came to fruition. So join today. Thank you. Number 1. Nintendo 64 games on Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch Online was lacking. We've been memeing it, we've been criticizing it. Nintendo Switch has been lacking since literally the day it's been announced. Yes, we've been getting Nintendo Entertainment System games, and yes, we've been getting Super Nintendo games, but honestly, we've been getting drip-fed these games, and no. And hopefully it's not the case with Nintendo 64 Online, because it'd be kind of sad if that were the case. But dude, just Nintendo 64 games on Switch is just, oh man, this is amazing. Why? Simply because Nintendo 64, for many people including myself, is just a childhood console. The Nintendo 64, and I'm speaking for myself here, that console literally raised me in terms of how to play video games in 3D and everything. It was literally my first console, like my first console. The honor of my first console goes to the Super Nintendo, but I was like a hand-me-down. My first console that was truly my own was the Nintendo 64, and I've had so many good memories with it, and just getting to relive it in this day and age as an adult is just amazing, man. 20 years ago, if I would have known that something like this would have been possible, it would have felt like a lie to me. And it felt like a lie to me last week when people were just rumoring Nintendo 64 Online, because it's been a rumor for years, and it's finally here, man. We get to play games like Super Mario 64, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Mario Tennis, Mario Kart 64, and so much more. Literally at the palm of your hands, because the Switch is a handheld, and it's just very exciting. Dude, Nintendo 64 is amazing for a reason, and people may clown it because of the controller and stuff, but hey, that sounds like a dumb problem. Nintendo 64, revolutionary console, and it's finally goddamn time we got it on Nintendo Switch. Honestly, I want a Nintendo 64 Classic as well, but that's just me. I want to see what games they put on for Nintendo 64. Like, if we're gonna get the whole catalog, I jumped when I saw Paper Mario and other games. But damn, I wanted to play the whole Mario Party trilogy on this thing. I doubt Mario Party 1 will ever come to Nintendo 64 Online, but hey, that's something I can wish and hope for, you know? Number 2. Sega Genesis games on Nintendo Switch. So yes, in America we called the Master System the Sega Genesis, if you don't know, which I think it's sort of common knowledge now. But the Sega Genesis is going to have a home on the Nintendo Switch. Yes. It's crazy because people were just expecting Nintendo consoles to just be the streaming service, but no, here comes Sega, and Sega's just literally saying, hey, have our console, we're gonna put games on it in your streaming service, Nintendo. And yes, Nintendo versus Sega, console wars back in the day in the 90s, blah blah blah, over and done with. But it's cool because we're getting a third-party console as a streaming service for the Nintendo Switch. And yes, it's honestly, I kind of found it surreal that it's making its way onto Nintendo Switch Switch Online because Sega releases their games in compilations and everything. Like, they're making the Sonic Ages collection and other, you know, Sonic and Sega Classics collection. I don't really know what it's called, but you know what I mean. And they're just making more money because of the streaming service. Do I blame them? No, Sega needs all the money it can get. And it's dope because we're gonna be able to play Sonic 2 and other Sega favorites that a lot of you guys that grew up in the 90s grew up with. And it's gonna be on Switch, man. Dude, this is the best way to kill illegal emulation. Illegal emulation is a blessing, alright? I'm not gonna knock it ever in my life because I do use emulation, alright? But if I can have it on my Nintendo Switch with no problem, that within itself is just great, honestly. It is. It's very convenient. And I'm gonna be touching upon this a little bit later. But Sega Genesis coming to Nintendo Switch, it's nice knowing that we're going to have more value for our expansion pack for the Nintendo Switch Online. Hopefully the price isn't too crazy though. Number 3, emulator functions. So what's dope about these games coming onto the Nintendo Switch Online is honestly the emulator functions. These games, to be honest with you, can be pretty hard. I felt a little weak saying that, to be honest with you, but they do feel kind of hard, and it's great knowing that we're gonna have functions like rewind, pause, you know, hand off with the controller, and other things that have been in emulation, at least in the illegal side of it, for many years. And it's been official by Nintendo since the NES Classic, and it's been built upon ever since then with the Nintendo Switch Online. But it's dope. Honestly, rewinding in old retro games is such a thing. It's such a necessity for me, especially because sometimes I play old games and I'm just like, damn, bro, I'm so accustomed to the easiness, to the save points of newer games that I just want to catch a break, to be honest with you. Life is stressful as it is, you know, as an adult. So having to just come home and enjoy the game without me having to stress out is amazing, because I can just rewind and forget that I died at a certain point in the game. Trust me, I will take advantage of that. In reality, this rewind feature is just another version of the save states from, you know, emulation from the PC side. But overall, it's great seeing that we're gonna experience the Sega Genesis / Nintendo 64 games with these features on deck. Why? Because have you played the Water Temple in Zelda? It's annoying. Or have you played, I forgot the name of the level in Sonic 2, but it's not in widescreen, so it's a little bit annoying because you can't really see ahead and you get unfair deaths. The unfair deaths in Sonic 2 are going to be mitigated by this rewind feature. And other features like the save points where, you know, you could just leave a game and just dip. Because some of these games, especially for the Sega Genesis, didn't have saves. Like, you would turn off the console and it would just erase everything you've done. Stuff like this is amazing. I'm 100% sure I didn't touch upon all the emulator functions, but it's nice enough that we are going to get them. I did save this emulator function for this next reason though. Number 4, online multiplayer. Wow. Dude, online multiplayer, yes, Sega Genesis is getting it, whatever. Nintendo 64 online multiplayer has been a dream come true. Dude, I get to play Mario Kart 64 not only with my clown friends, but I get to play with the Mr. Members off stream or on stream. And no, yes, this felt like a plug-in, but no, it was definitely not, because this is the first thing that came to my head. I have friends literally from a lot of parts of the world, and I get to enjoy games like potentially like Mario Party, Mario Tennis. You know how many people I can clown in Mario Tennis 64? I'm not the greatest at it, but I'm pretty good at it, you know. I'll admit that. And it's exciting, man. Mario Golf, I had to bring the clown over to the studio, play that game. Now we could play from the studio to his house. Mario Golf Online, like, I can't wait to boot up Mario 64 online. I really can't, because a lot of people say Mario Kart 64 is like one of the best Mario Karts, and I can't deny it is one of the better Mario Karts, but this day and age it's a little wonky to play, but it's fun, it's playable nonetheless. I just excited, man. Online multiplayer in these games. So for summer vacations, my cousins and I would play Mario 64, and once we would die, we would just pass off the controller to each other. And the fact that we can do this online is just, I don't know, it just brings my inner childhood back to life, honestly. Thank you, Nintendo. Seriously, whoever's watching this from Nintendo, even if you're just an employee that mops the bathrooms, thank you, honestly, because damn, This is a thing that exists now, and it's a thing we've all wanted and dreamt of since we were kids. Number 5. New controllers. So there's going to be Nintendo 64 and Sega Genesis controllers for the Nintendo Switch, and it's like, what? Sega Genesis controllers on Nintendo Switch? Yes, console wars, blah blah blah, whatever. Sega Genesis on controllers, I can't even speak. Sega Genesis on Nintendo Switch, playable with a Sega Genesis controller. I bought a Sega Genesis controller many years ago, close to 10, because Classic Game Room said that this is one of the best controllers of all time, that it was very comfortable, and I caved in, and I bought it, just to play Sonic with that controller. And was it good? Yes, I had a blast playing Sonics 1 through 3. And will I do it again for the Nintendo Switch Online? Most likely not. I don't know, $50 is a little too expensive for them controllers, so Sega might put them on sale or something, so I'll just wait till then. But the Nintendo 64 controller, I refuse to play Nintendo 64 games. Well, I lied. I highly prefer playing Nintendo 64 games with a Nintendo 64 controller. Why? The authenticity. Look, I can care less about CRT TVs, lag inputs. Well, I do care about lag inputs, but I can care less about not playing on original hardware. To me, a controller makes or breaks the game. And playing Nintendo 64 with an official Nintendo 64 controller from this day and age, it's just, oh my god, dude. And you know, some things I shouldn't really be doing or talking about, but I'm pretty sure these controllers are gonna be compatible with the PC. So, games like Mario Party 1 that aren't going to be on Nintendo Switch Online, from personal speculation, will be able to be playable on the PC. Which is amazing. It's Nintendo, I love you. I really, really, really do. Number 6. Discovering old classics. Let's admit it, most of you guys are young. Most of you guys weren't around during the Nintendo 64 games. Most of you guys probably's first console is the Nintendo Wii, and that's okay. With Nintendo 64 Online and Sega Genesis Online, you get to relive what we would say are the best games of all time. Sure, you might not agree that, you know, these are gems and these are literally the best games of all time, because you've probably played a lot more enhanced versions of these games. Like, I have an argument with a clown friend of mine that I say Ocarina of Time is better than Breath of the Wild, and you know, the argument has been for years back and forth, but my main thing about that argument in specifics, it's that, honestly, Ocarina of Time is so good because it's just a masterpiece of its time. Breath of the Wild is also a masterpiece of its time too, but games like Ocarina of Time or other games like from the Nintendo 64 era really hold up till this day. And I don't want to hear it, Mario 64 doesn't hold up, because it does, alright? Camera controls aside, it holds up. I can play Mario 64 fine till I'm 80 years old. Honestly, I didn't play much of the Sega Genesis games growing up, and not much as an adult either, but it's good knowing that I'm going to be able to play these games for the first time on Sega Genesis Online. Just like I've been playing games on Super Nintendo Online. I've never heard of some of these games, and they're out here just being playable and stuff. So discovering old classics is always a good thing, and hey, it can also spark interest in making a new version of the game. Hey, thanks for making it to the halfway point of this video. I hope you guys are enjoying this video. Comment down below hype reasons you would be hyped for Nintendo 64 and Sega Genesis Online. Honestly, I just want to talk to people about this because it's been on my mind since it's been announced. Number 7. Freaking Banjo-Kazooie. I literally jumped off my seat once I saw Banjo-Kazooie. I couldn't believe it. In the timeline we're living in, it's possible, alright? I don't know why I couldn't believe it, but I couldn't believe it. Banjo-Kazooie is coming back to Nintendo Switch. The game, not the character. He's already been here. But the game itself is coming back to Nintendo Switch. Xbox, I love you as well for doing this. You know, I sometimes criticize you and talk a lot of slander about you and your console, but decisions like these is what makes me appreciate you and makes me want to get an Xbox Series S. But seriously, Banjo-Kazooie on Nintendo Switch, can we have GoldenEye? Can we have Conker's Bad Fur Day? Can we finally have a Banjo 3? Why do I mention Banjo 3? Because if there's enough support for Banjo-Kazooie and eventually Banjo-Tooie on this service, Nintendo fans aren't gonna shut up. They're gonna want Banjo 3. So maybe this is Microsoft's way of gauging the potential audience, you know, for these games. Because honestly, if I was Microsoft and I had money, I would pump out a Banjo 3, put it on only on Switch and Xbox, and don't put it on PC or PS5, because, you know, no. And just flourish, honestly. Honestly. Would I get it on Switch? Maybe. Would I get it on Xbox? I would buy a whole Xbox Series X for Banjo 3. Unless I have the Series X, then I'm not buying a Series X. But I would buy a whole Xbox for Banjo-Kazooie, okay? Oh, man. It's great, man. It's great. This announcement just brought joy to my life, dude. I was gonna say my world, but it did too, but more my life. Number 8. Future consoles. So, you know how we were watching the presentation and Sega Genesis felt a little out of left field? Just imagine, Sega Genesis coming into Nintendo Switch Online is the equivalent of third-party characters coming into Super Smash Bros. For the first time. Sort of. But think about it, now we get to have Neo Geo, Dreamcast, and other consoles just come in onto this Nintendo Switch Online service. I would pay for Dreamcast Online, to be honest with you, because some of those games were online. Also, I would pay for all the other Nintendo consoles, but that's just a given. It's super cool knowing that eventually, and at some point, we might get that whole Wii Virtual Console library as a paid online service for Nintendo Switch Online. Would I subscribe to all of them? No, definitely not. Would I try some of them out? Yes, definitely would, yes. But it's nice knowing that we're getting more than Nintendo consoles for this service. It definitely is. Hopefully we could get a better price for Nintendo Switch Online. That's what has me worried. I don't want to end up paying, it's yearly. If it's a yearly thing, I don't really mind. But I don't want to end up paying more than 50-60 bucks just to play my favorite games. Hopefully this upgrade isn't that crazy, please. I really hope so. Number 9. It comes out the end of October. That's right around the corner. This video is going to be dated pretty soon anyway, to be honest with you. I made this video in September, okay? And we're just going to be delving into the magical wonders of Nintendo 64 and Sega Genesis on our Nintendo Switches. Is Nintendo gonna get a whole bunch of new subscribers? Yes. Are they gonna get more money out of us? Of course. But it's great knowing we're not waiting till 2022 like everything else. Well, like mostly everything else on this Direct. And finally, number 10. The possibility of fantastic controller options. You know what I mean when I say fantastic, and if you don't know what I mean, let me educate you, young one. The fantastic colors were these colors for the Nintendo 64, and honestly, this great controller for the Nintendo 64 is great, it's amazing, it's coming out, but God almighty, can we get fantastic colors for the Nintendo 64 controllers? I wanted to buy 4 of these controllers. After some conversation with my friends, I came to the conclusion I might just buy 2, or maybe just 1, I don't know just yet. Because I don't want to buy 4 great controllers. I'd rather buy 1 great controller and then wait for color controllers, because why not, you know? Nintendo 64 was known for its color options, so I want to have some variety here. I personally have a red and blue controller in my house alongside a black and gray controller. So I kind of want that over here at the studio and have a wireless option. But what I mean by this reason as well is that, yo, what if we get fantastic Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons, like the see-through stuff? That was a good era of Nintendo, and I kind of want them to harken back to it, especially with this whole Nintendo 64 resurgence things. But hey, Nintendo doesn't like making that much money, so they won't do it. Whew! Thank you for making it to the end of this video. Shout outs to you. Yes, you, the viewer watching. My watch time wants to hug you and parade you around. I really appreciate all this time you spent watching or hearing this video. Also, big shout outs to the Mr. members for supporting the channel monthly. There's a couple of you now. This is dope. Thank you. Seriously, thank you. You guys have been putting more than that pizza on my pepperoni. You guys have been putting that bacon on my pepperoni as well. That also goes on my pizza. Seriously, thank you. And to the people wearing the Mr. Awesome merch, thank you, honestly, because you're going above and beyond than just watching videos. Same thing with the members, but wearing the merch outside like that, that's really amazing. My dream is seeing someone that I don't know wear the Miss Rossa merch outside in public, and I don't know, just thinking about that gets me a little excited and a little teary, because it'd be a dream come true. I want to do this YouTube stuff full time, and you guys are really making it come true. I really do appreciate it. Great, now I'm tearing up like in the direct again. Alright guys, thank you guys for watching. As always, stay golden, stay safe out there. Subscribe for more 10 Reasons videos because I am working hard on them right now. Thank you!